Everyone online has a take on this. Hogwarts fans say their school is iconic. Wednesday fans say Nevermore is cooler, darker, more evolved. And honestly, both sides are missing something. Because here's the thing nobody is actually asking. Which school would get you killed faster? Not metaphorically, not dramatically. I mean, as a student, which place is a genuine institutional threat to your physical survival? And when you actually lay out the evidence side by side, the answer is surprisingly uncomfortable. Nevermore Academy? The place sold to us as a safe haven for outcasts. The school that literally describes itself as a fortress against the normie world is quietly a disaster. A beautiful, gothic, incredibly well-dressed disaster. I went through both canons, the Hogwarts lore across 7 books and Nevermore across 2 seasons of Wednesday. And I built a case. 5 categories, 0 mercy. And by the end of this, you're going to look at that purple Nevermore uniform very differently. Let's start with the thing that nobody defends, but everyone ignores.
Hogwarts, famously, has a teacher problem, specifically with the Defense Against the Dark Arts position, which is cursed, literally by Voldemort, so that no professor lasts longer than a year. The track record is brutal. Quirrell had Voldemort living in the back of his skull. Lockhart was a fraud who tried to erase 2 students' memories. Lupin, genuinely the best one, was a werewolf who nearly mauled Harry, Ron, and Hermione one night when he forgot his potion. Moody turned out to be a Death Eater in disguise the entire year. Umbridge tortured students with a blood quill. Yes, that's a catastrophic hiring record. I'm not defending it. But here's what's interesting. Hogwarts, for all its chaos, had Dumbledore, one of the most powerful wizards alive, a man who had successfully fought 2 Dark Lords as headmaster for most of its dangerous years. He made terrible choices about what to keep in the school, but he was also actively trying to protect it. Now look at Nevermore. Principal Larissa Weebs, Season 1. Sophisticated, stylish, apparently competent. And she spent the entire season being completely outmaneuvered by a botany teacher named Marilyn Thornhill, who was actually Laurel Gates, a woman whose entire plan was to resurrect a Puritan mass murderer and unleash him on the student body.
This is where it gets genuinely uncomfortable. Hogwarts, let's be honest, is not safe. A basilisk lived in the plumbing for 50 years. The Triwizard Tournament killed a student on school grounds. First years were sent into the Forbidden Forest as a detention. The staircases moved unpredictably over a bottomless chasm with minimal railings. In Harry's very first year, Dumbledore stood up at the welcome feast and casually announced that the 3rd floor corridor was off limits to anyone who did not wish to die a very painful death. He said that to 11-year-olds at dinner. All of that is true, and people have been pointing it out, correctly, for decades. But here's what Nevermore does. It somehow manages to be dangerous and incompetent at the same time. Hogwarts is dangerous because of external threats. Voldemort, dark wizards, an unfortunate basilisk situation. The danger largely comes from outside the institution. At Nevermore, the danger is the institution. In episode 1 of season 1, Wednesday Addams arrives and is nearly killed by a falling gargoyle on her first day. Day 1, not a metaphor, an actual gargoyle falling off the actual building aimed at an actual student. And nobody investigates it. Nobody takes it seriously. It's treated as a quirk. Then a creature starts killing people in the surrounding woods. Then a student is found nearly dead. Then the school dance turns into a near massacre. And through all of this, Nevermore's response is essentially hold the Po Cup Regatta as scheduled.
Here's a detail that sounds cool until you think about it for more than 30 seconds. Nevermore Academy has a secret society called the Nightshades. They operate out of a hidden room accessible through a gargoyle on the school grounds. They have no faculty oversight. They have their own rituals, their own hierarchy, their own agenda. And critically, the school administration knows they exist and does nothing about it. Bianca Barclay, one of the most powerful sirens in the school, is a member. Xavier Thorpe is a member. These are prominent,
influential students operating a parallel power structure inside the school with zero accountability. Hogwarts had Dumbledore's army, but that was a student resistance movement formed specifically because Umbridge had banned all practical magical education. It was rebellion against a corrupt administration. The Nightshades at Nevermore, by contrast, exist during normal school operation. They're not a response to institutional failure. They're just there, operating unsupervised inside a school full of werewolves, vampires, and psychics. What could go wrong? And this connects to something deeper about the two schools. Hogwarts has a clear institutional structure. Rules exist. They're often broken, and the consequences are sometimes absurd, but the structure is there. 5 points from Gryffindor. Detention with Filch. The school has an identity beyond the drama happening inside it. Nevermore's entire identity is the drama. There's no sense of what normal life at Nevermore looks like when a monster isn't attacking people.
So, which school is worse? Hogwarts has a cursed teaching position, a basilisk problem, a headmaster who made catastrophically trusting decisions, and a sport that routinely hospitalizes 11-year-olds. On its absolute worst day, Death Eaters occupied the castle, and students were tortured in detention. Nevermore has a founding built on stolen land, an administration that couldn't identify a villain organizing school events, a monster-in-the-woods situation treated as background noise, a secret society with no oversight, a surrounding community that wants the school gone, and a philosophical identity that's more about aesthetic than education. Here's my read. Hogwarts is dangerous the way a city is dangerous. Things happen, some of them are terrible, the institution survives and tries to recover. Nevermore is dangerous the way a pressure cooker is dangerous. The whole setup is wrong. The environment is hostile. The management is